Darrell, it's obviously been a fairly fresh week, I think it's fair to say. How has it impacted things building up to the game this weekend?
Certainly has been a bit cold, Adam, didn't it? I didn't sign up for this. No, it's Tuesday obviously had a lot of snow, but credit to my ground staff, my head groundsman Dave and his team did a tremendous job putting the covers on the training pitch and getting the snow all cleared off top of the covers. They were working early hours of Tuesday morning to make sure that we could train on grass. So a big thank you from myself and my coaching staff for those guys, and they were hard at it again this morning. They had to put the covers on yesterday to make sure that we got a decent surface to train on grass. So really pleased with that.
In terms of the group, clearly you lost Max Waters early on last weekend. Has he got any chance this weekend, or is that going to be a longer term thing?
No, listen, it's going to be, we had it scanned, it's going to be 2 weeks, a couple of weeks I've been told from the medical department. I had a scan the other day, so it's not too serious. He'll just keep him back for a couple of weeks before he's back to full fitness.
Sam Cosgrove, is he back in the squad this weekend?
Stepped up his training plan this week. We'll see on Saturday what that sort of brings to us, but he has stepped up his training.
And Gabriel Slanina is the other one to check up on?
Yeah, listen, Gabs has obviously got a problem in his hand, and 4 to 6 weeks was the diagnosis, so he's a little bit more long term. He's working hard on his feet and on his distribution side of the game and his fitness levels. So he's staying with us to get fit, so and improve. So that's good.
I thought Kelechi Nwakali had an excellent game after coming on last weekend. Has he given you plenty of additional and welcome food for thought now? Certainly
has. You know, I thought it was a game. Obviously, we'd gone a goal down. Max's injury. I wanted somebody in the deep line midfield. The way the game was playing out, with Cambridge being in the mid block a lot of the time, we needed somebody to get on the ball and be able to spring some really good passes and be able to hit the longer ball diagonally and find the passes. And Kelechi came on and did an excellent job in that. So really pleased for himself, really pleased for us as well, because he's obviously had to wait and be patient and do a lot of fitness work to get him up to the standard that we needed him at, and performed very well Saturday.
Given his kind of background and where he was playing last year, why has it taken so long for him to get to this point?
I just think sometimes the transition from playing abroad, which he has done now for a few years, coming into the League One, and he's carrying a slight problem as well when we came in, that we couldn't overuse it, a groin problem, and if we physically did him too early, he'd have broke down injured. So if you can remember right, I think in the early part I said we'd probably see a lot more of him coming December, January, but we've seen a bit of him in November. He's been playing a few of the 21s games, so a real good lad. I like him. I've got a lot of time for him, and technically a very good player. And we're working on the other areas of the game that we think he needs to improve on to be even more effective.
I mean, given his background, the teams he's played for, the fact he's an international footballer, should fans rightly be getting kind of quite excited by what potentially he could bring?
Yeah, I think so. I think that obviously the first proper glance of him, they've seen a little bit of him in the 21s games, which we've tend to go young and a bit of a mixed bag, to be honest with you. But then obviously his proper first team game, shall we call it, he's performed really well. So, like all the members of the squad, not just Kelechi, everybody's working hard. Everybody's training as hard as he possibly can. You know, as a manager, I can only pick 11 players, 7 substitutions. We have a healthy competition, certainly in midfield area. We have got really good competition. It's got some really good players there that are performing well. So Kelechi comes into that mix, adding that value to it as even more so.
Must be delighted for Stephen Humphreys over the last couple of games. A couple of really good finishes from him. Is he showing what an astute signing he was at the end of the window? Yeah,
no, really pleased with Stephen and the rest of the lads. Humps is I like him. I like his character. He's a very intelligent lad, which you don't see much about in football. He's very knowledgeable on things. I know that we have a laugh with him with the lads, but he's a very bright lad and a very good, talented footballer. So, bringing him in, getting him really fit now is obviously we're seeing the rewards for that.
Are you impressed with his dance moves?
Yeah, well, I hadn't heard a lot. Jay mentioned it earlier, to be honest with you. So, listen, I'm not one for the social medias and all the bits and pieces, but yeah, someone says he's got a few moves, hasn't he?
Do you like your players kind of getting on board with all the celebrations and stuff? It's a fun part of the game, isn't it?
Listen, if they're celebrating, that means we're winning. So I don't mind that at all. The spirit in the camp, Adam, is very, very good. Yeah, I think you can see that with the way the lads celebrate together. They're getting on really well as a group, and I see that getting stronger and stronger. The more they play together, the more they're together as a group, and that's really pleasing as a manager to see that camaraderie. Really pleased that you see the lads that going out for a bite of food together, and there's loads of good things happening in that change rooms, and long may that continue.
Big week at Oakwell, 3 games at home in League, in Cup. I imagine you're really hoping to build on from the Rotherham game. Yeah,
last 2 home performances. I'd even put Charlton in the mix as well, to be honest, because I thought that performance was good for large periods of the game. But like you said there, three home games, but we take 1 game at a time. Wigan on Saturday, very good possession-based team. Probably a little bit disappointed to not hit more points, but talented manager in Sean, good guy. They've got some good players, some good younger players. So we have to make sure that our game is spot on. And I say it week in, week out. There's no given for points. We have to go and earn them every single match, and that's why I don't like looking no further than the next game.
Yeah, I mean, certainly from a results perspective, they found it tough. I mean, it's a club that's gone through the ringer quite a lot over the last 5 or 10 years, isn't it?
Yeah, ownership changes, a bit of yo-yo in League One, Championship. Obviously, we had a dabble in the Premier League as well for a while. So, they're obviously fallen a little bit on harder times. But what that takes then for a manager is time. They've gone a different way. Probably hasn't got the financial resources that the club's had in the past. And then they have to find different ways. And they've certainly got some really good young talent at the football club that sometimes are going to make mistakes, but easy on the eye, very good possession-based team. But we have to make sure that we concentrate on what we're good at, and we want to add to another good performance, as we have done in our last couple of home games.
Final one from me, Darrell. Look, you're in a strong place right now, certainly in the tables perspective. But it's a relentless period, isn't it, coming up between now and Christmas? How much will the kind of next few weeks potentially set the tone for the rest of the season?
Yeah, it does. It does, because the games come thick and fast, don't they? Saturday, Tuesday for the next couple of weeks, and then obviously we get a little bit of a Saturday, and then we're into the Christmas period. So, but we have to, I genuinely mean this, and probably people are bored of hearing me saying it. We have a plan for every game, and we just look forward to the next game. When the games come thick and fast like they do, then obviously the workload's high for myself and my staff, to make sure that we get the plan in place and the players get the messages that we want in that particular game. So it has to be that real focus of the way we have been working, and that real focus to keep on improving the way we have been.
Brilliant. Great stuff. Thanks, Darrell.
Cheers, Adam. Top man. Cheers, mate.
Darrell, you mentioned before these last couple of good home performances, like you said, sort of about getting out of a mentality at home and wanting to be a bit more sort of adventurous and play a bit more attacking. Are you seeing that now the last few games? Do you think you've hopefully turned the corner on that?
Yeah, but I think even if you look beforehand, we've got 2 goals against Northampton, 2 goals against Wickham. Should be enough to win football games. I think our overall performances, not just at home, have been better. We're getting better combinations on the pitch, better quality, better decision making. That's for sure, because when you do those things and players have to make decisions at split seconds on a Saturday, when you do that, then confidence starts coming through the team. So you keep working hard on that, and the lads will get the rewards.
And can you feel that it's starting to change a bit sort of in the atmosphere as well? I mean, the fans have been behind you, but obviously it's been well documented that before your time as well, the home form probably wasn't the best, and it is hopefully starting to turn. Yeah,
I mean, what I will say is the fans have been magnificent since I've come into the club. Yes, there's been a frustration, certainly with our home results, but they've stuck with us all the way. I thought the support at Cambridge, they gave the lads a standing ovation after the draw, and we were frustrated we didn't win the game, but really appreciated that the fans enjoyed a lot of the aspects of the performance, other than putting the ball in the back of the net a few more times. So we have to keep doing that. There has to be a consistent at our football club. There has to be a consistent way when we're in League One, and that's winning. the more you win, the more the fans are on board. But they'll be behind us Saturday, no doubt.
You mentioned on Saturday after the game about the players who aren't playing at the moment. There's a bit of frustration there, but you kind of like to see that because it means that they want to play. I mean, you haven't made in games as many substitutions in the last sort of 2 or 3 games, only 1 or 2, and some of them have been enforced. Is that because of the players that are starting are doing such a good job, or do you need to see more from the substitutes in training to get them more game time?
No, for me it's not rocket science, is it? You know, like I've always managed pretty consistently through my career is if I feel that something's not working on the pitch, I change it. Have I changed it sometimes too early? Yeah. Have I sometimes got it right? Yes. So it's because I see a game on the sideline and I thought Saturday didn't need a lot of changes. We're creating chances after chances, we're getting crosses in the box, we're dominating the ball. I don't think I needed to force a change in this scenario. We just needed one of the balls to go in the back of the net. So it's not changing for changing's sake. There's always a reason, and I always explain my reasons why I make those changes. But the lads are training well. There has to be a frustration from players not playing. I expect every player to want to play. I get very uncomfortable if I see a group of players that don't want to play, but they have to be respectful of the group and the club, and making sure that they're at it every day in training, and there's no sulking and moaning around the place, because I don't tolerate that. I don't tolerate energy zappers. Yes, I want my players to be playing every week. Yes, I can only pick 11 players, but I also don't want players moping around and creating an atmosphere that I don't want at our football club. So that's a no-go. And unfortunate enough, the lads are not that. They get on with the training, they train hard. Sometimes players are playing in the 21s, like Fabio the other day, and Marshy playing the 21s to get the match minutes up. And their attitude's been very good.
Yeah, well, since you mentioned Fabio, who obviously hasn't played too much in the last few games, scored a few goals, obviously with the striker injury. I mean, where is he in terms of getting maybe a bit more game time? Yeah,
the pleasing thing for me is Fabio started pre-season really, really well, really fit, really strong, and then he had a couple of elements where he dislocated his shoulder came out, so we had to be very, very careful, contact, the work he could do, the games he could play. But now we've got him in a better situation. He's had a couple of 90 minutes with the 21s now. He's training well, and it's about forcing himself into the team and onto the pitch. Because he's a talent. We all know. We know the Barnsley fans, and I know he's a talent. He's only a bab. He's only 18, and we've got to make sure that we get him to the fitness levels that I think needs to be ready to start games. And he's a little bit off that, but he's getting there.
And lastly, for me, you're a third of the way through the season now. I think 15 games. I mean, how would you sum up the first third of the season?
Improvement. Improvement, building on. The first couple of months I was looking for answers, searching for answers, figuring out the group, figuring out lots of things in the first couple of months, and then we had 2-3 performances which were below the standard what I'd expect, and I don't mind saying that. I said it to you guys, the 2 home games and the Huddersfield games, that we needed to be a hell of a lot better. We've done that in the 5-6 games, but that's just 5-6 games. We have to be consistent. We have to be working to improve. There's no standing still for me, and certainly there won't be allowed any standing still for players. We want to get better. We want to be in control, more minutes in the games. We want to make sure that we're scoring more and creating more chances. We want to make sure that we're not giving sloppy goals away, and that we're doing things right, and the boys that are learning and keep learning to keep driving it forward.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Hi, Darrell. I've not too many. But people have mentioned home form, this and that, whether it's supporters, journalists, but I suppose for you, you've just got to not get bogged down with it. It's all about performance, isn't it? If you can get that bit right, everything else will take care of itself, and that's what you're sort of showing that in that regard recently.
Definitely, Leon. I mean, I suppose I look at it as, the more you mention it, the more I want my players to play with no fear. In a world where, in the footballing world and the nature of the world now, it's very opinionated, isn't it? It's very opinionated, and people want to talk about it. They want to go on about it, which is understandable. But the players have to remain focused on what we're trying to do on the pitch and try and improve that, and not to get fazed by it.
Yeah.
Are we going to have to come from behind to win home games? Yes. We can't. You have to understand it's like a little bit like Saturday, and you concede a goal that's a deflected goal.
Yeah.
Could we defended the moments just before the goal better? Yes, but it's a deflected goal. So there's always going to be times in football when things go against you, but it's the response, it's the way the lads respond, and the boys responded well Saturday, and we have to do that at home as well when things don't always go our way.
Yeah, I'm going to ask you about how, different formations and being strong in them. I mean, you've shown you 3-4-3, and then obviously you went back to the 3-5-2 on Saturday. Being strong with several formations, that's a big part from any sort of manager, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. I think the information and all the data, all the stats, all the things you get on the opposition, I think it's important to be able to have that flexibility of change. Not ridiculous, but we work on things that plan A and plan B, just because in the game, say for example for Saturday we go goal down earlier and we lose a centre forward, so we have to quickly adjust. We have to quickly see where we might be able to get more control in that game, and we have to just keep knowing that we can be flexible. We can be a back four, we can be a back three. There's games early on in the season where we come back when we've gone into a different shape and into a back four. So the flexibility of the group's very good.
The sort of, you touched on it a bit earlier, the attitude of the players in training. You don't want any moaners, slackers. You've got to train as you play, and attitude's got to be first class. And you've got some good options now, haven't you? Really, and the way that players train in the working week, is that going to important in terms of when you choose your size, pick your size? That could have a bearing on it. You want everyone's on call, and you've got to be on message all the time in training. Yeah,
very much so. I mean, the shall we say, last 5-6 games, there hasn't been many changes because the performances have been really good. Stronger, shall we say. So the message is for the players in the team to keep that shirt, to make sure the intensity in your training in the games, and you keep improving. And the message to the boys that aren't is to be patient, but to work hard, to work even harder, because I don't think there's many outside the 11 at the minute can have a case. If we were losing games and not performing, they've got more of a stronger case. But I think they understand that teams playing really well, I've got to make sure I'm in top shape for when I do get my opportunity. So if you look at Ben Killip, for example, how patient as he had to be, he's done really well last few games. John Russell, how patient as he had to be. Georgie Gent, how patient as he had to be. Kelechi, and that's why I say the non-negotiables to players at a football club is if they're not training hard, okay, when they do come in the team, they're miles off. And that's the non-negotiables for me. And they know where I stand on that. You can be sulky, you can be frustrated, you can be disappointed you're not an 11, but if you're not training right, you won't be training with a group. They'll be training with the 21s. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, sure. I'm just going to ask you finally, Stephen Humphries. I mean, you've got a talented player, but he's probably a little bit of a character and a maverick in a good way. But sounds like you've got a leader as well.
Yeah, no, we've got a decent leadership group, to be honest. I think now with DKD, Humphries coming into it to help the other boys. Robbo, obviously Luca, captain early, Corey O'Keefe, Mal. They're all growing, these players, for me. They're growing, and it's something I asked for them to do. I think there was one or two characters last season that was pretty dominant in the change rooms. I don't think there was enough voices. These are the things that are coming back to me. There weren't enough voices there last year, or certainly players I don't think feel that could have a voice. Well, everyone deserves a voice in my changing rooms. We're all as one, and that's what I want. And I think that the players that now there's more of a real good leadership group. It's not knocking anybody from last season because it was a different personnel, but I think that there's definitely an environment here where everybody has a voice.
Yeah. Thanks for your time as ever, Darrell.
Cheers, thank you.